Hello, welcome again to the FanDuel Punch-Out. I'm Big Italy 42. He is Christopher Ruckus at Space Jam 23 DFS. Talk about this three-game slate tonight. Obviously, not a whole lot of options because it's a really small slate. At pitcher tonight, love Dallas Keuchel at $9,800 against the Yankees. He's elite, 172 WOBA to lefties this year, 64% ground ball rate. Gotta love him at home in Minute Maid Park, especially as a guy who doesn't give up fly balls. AJ Burnett is my other option. Probably more of a cash game option if you're that brave on a three-game slate, 9,200. Like to think he's going to have a lot better success than Garrett Cole did last night because for some reason Cole's just had issues with the Reds over the past couple of years.
Yeah, those are your two chalk pitchers. They're 40% to 40%. I mean, that's probably 75% of the field tonight. GPP's fading him. Lance Lynn against the Marlins, against Dan Herron. He should get good run support. So I do prefer Lance Lynn on FanDuel, single pitcher site, to fade those two guys in GPPs.
Yeah, and I'm really not a fan of Herron, DeSclafani, or Warren, so we can go ahead and skip them. As a move to catcher, Yadi Molina at $3,000 makes sense against Dan Herron, who throughout his career has had reverse splits, but actually pretty good against righties this year. Not a whole lot of options you're really looking at, so I'm looking for him. And then in tournaments, I'm looking at Evan Gattis at $3,400 against Adam Warren, who's probably the worst pitcher on the slate and not named Dan Herron.
Yeah, I think Gaddis, and also if you need somebody cheap, I'm probably pivoting down. So Francisco Cervelli, batting seventh, 2.8K. I don't mind him at all, but I think Gaddis is your top option. It's not really close.
Yep, and if I'm looking for a cheap guy, he's out of the lineup the last 2 days, but if he's back, switch hitter Brian Pena is men's salary. So if you just need a punt, you don't love the matchup, but you don't love most of the matchups tonight. So I think he's your best option as far as punts go. First base, of course you like Joey Votto because he's the best hitter of the bunch. Gets AJ Burnett tonight. AJ Burnett's a pretty good pitcher, but I think Votto's a better hitter than Burnett is a pitcher, so you're looking that way. Mark Teixeira is a good tournament option against Keuchel because he'll be popular. But then as you're looking for a guy that's cheap with big-time upside, Pedro Alvarez, you got Anthony DeSclafani's been much better against righties than lefties this year. 2.5K. I mean, I'm sure we will not be the only ones on Pedro Alvarez in tournaments tonight.
Yeah, no, Pedro Alvarez was what I was going to say. Pivot off of Pedro to a nice, more contrarian. I don't think Pedro's going to be contrarian. And it's Mark Reynolds against Dan Herron, or Justin Bour against Lance Lynn. If you're not, that's also a decent pivot off of Pedro Alvarez.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's about it. I guess you could throw Chris Carter in the tournament with his big power against Adam Warren as well. As you're looking at second base, gotta like D. Gordon against Lance Lynn. Obviously, stolen base upside is a little bit capped by Yadi Molina being behind the dish tonight, but I think he's a fine option. Then if you want power, just go to the other side and pick on Dan Herron a little bit. Colton Dong hit another one last night. Gotta love his power at the top of that lineup. I think he's probably the guy that's going to be the most popular of anyone on the slate tonight.
Yeah, he will be. And like I said, if you're not playing Lance Lynn, I don't mind stacking against him. It sounds crazy, but you've got Derek Dietrich or D. Gordon. Both in good spots, both pivots off of Colin Wong. Probably, if I'm swerving and hooking, Neil Walker with Pedro Alvarez against DeSclafani is where I'm looking, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I'm on the red side if you want to be a little bit contrarian. Brandon Phillips missed last night's game. Maybe he sits out, so Ivan DeJesus would be a good option if he's out. Third base options, you're looking at Luis Valbuena at $3,900 at Minute Maid Park. I'm sure you don't need to know about his power. If not that, my cash game play is going to be Matt Carpenter, of course. Another lefty against Dan Herron. Pretty much a no-brainer there because Chase Headley, the guy I've been going to quite a bit now, gets the toughest matchup on the board against Dallas Keuchel. So he's a tournament option at best for me, but I really don't like playing guys against Keuchel.
No, and it's hard for me. GPPs, I think Carpenter's going to be high owned too. Yeah. So just swerve, pivot right to Josh Harrison batting leadoff against DeSclafani, same price. His ownership's going to be minimal because of that close price, so I don't mind that swerve at all.
Absolutely, and then of course Todd Frazier, like you said, he's your power guy. Shortstop Carlos Correa has been the go-to recently. Once again, going to be a popular guy. Obviously, Houston going to be a popular team tonight, as you can tell. Jung Ho Kang is going to be a popular play. $2,700 if he's got a nice lineup spot as well.
Just it just came in. Kang isn't starting.
Oh, all right. Well, do not play him. I guess Jordy Mercer's in, then I'm guessing.
Yeah, Mercer's batting 8th.
All right, so you don't really love him, so maybe keep Kong out of there. Save yourself some money if you want to go with Mercer. But then I guess Johnny Peralta would be your next option. Probably been the most consistent offensive shortstop all season.
Yeah, I mean, it's which are the same price. Carrera's out, or if you're pivoting, you need a punt. The only punt I don't probably Heckavaria against Lance Lynn. I mean, it's tough. Him and Mercer both. I don't really like him or Mercer. I think Carrera is the play, and it's not particularly close for me.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Moving to the outfield, there's top options and there's everybody else. I guess your best middle option is going to be Jason Hayward. Absolutely on fire. Homers in 4 of his last 6. He gets Dan Herron tonight. Another lefty facing him. Gotta love him. I like Preston Tucker in tournaments also. But if you're paying up, I mean, it's going to be Giancarlo Stanton or Andrew McCutchen tonight.
Yeah, 1-2, and then Gregory Polanco is way too cheap at 2.4K, batting second. I love him against D. Scalfini. George Springer's in a really good spot. I love George Springer. And then also, like you said, you already Colby Rasmus, those kind of guys are in play. But any Astro, any Pirate, those are going to be in play tonight. Cardinal. Those are going to be your top 3 teams you're going to want to target.
Yeah, I'm completely with you there. And that's about all the analysis we've got here for you today on this short slate. So find us on Twitter at DF Cafe, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and check out all of our great content at dailyfantasycafe.com.